Good morning, dear students. Let me present myself. My name is Jacupova. I am an English teacher in Nazarbayev Intellectual Schools of Physical Math. I am going to present the lesson prepared by Jacupova A Bahtiyarova. The topic is IELTS Writing Task 1. Today we are going to talk about graphs and charts, and also graphs and charts combined. So what do you know about writing task 1? Yes, graphs and charts. We are going to talk about graphs, charts, and graphs and charts combined. So what is graphs and charts combined? So it is our first topic. So today I will help you to prepare for writing about combined graphs and analyze the data about future in writing task 1 of the academic component of IELTS. Today you will learn how to organize a structure, how to paraphrase, how to respond when given two data sources, how to describe future trends in graphs and charts. Now let's look at the following question and the graph. The line graph below shows changes in the amount and type of fast food consumed by Australian teenagers from 1975 to 2000. Summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant. So let's look at this table. You need to number in the next column the correct order of structure. So the right order is: number 1, introduce the graph; number 2, give an overview; and number 3, give the detail. So let's start from graphs. You need to begin with 1 or 2 sentences that state what the IELTS writing task 1 shows. To do this, paraphrase the title of the graph, making sure you put it in a time frame if there is one. The line graph below shows changes in the amount and type of fast food consumed by Australian teenagers from 1975 to 2000. So you summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant. The line graph, the amount of fast food consumed by teenagers in Australia, a period of. So think, dear students, how you can paraphrase highlighted words in the task. For example, you can say, line graph illustrates the amount of fast food consumed by teenagers in Australia between 1975 and 2000, a period of 25 years. So, in order to give an overview, we need to have main trend. Do not give details such as data, and talk about what is happening overall. It means in general. The next is overall. So we have 3 types of food, 3 categories of food: pizza, fish and chips, and hamburgers. So you need to put in the missing word in this part of writing task 1. Overall, the consumption of declined over the period, whereas the amount of pizza and hamburgers that were eaten increased. This covers the main changes that took place over the whole period. So you need to here to look at the main points in this graph. Of course, it was fish and chips that declined over the period. So in terms of giving the detail, you need to give more specific detail, make a reference to the data, group data together, and identify any similarities and differences. The next task is you need to put these pieces of writing task 1 into right order. So the answers are, number 1, it is introduction, as you see here, where you can understand that from the first words of the statement, like it is starting from the data, giving general information. The next is one of the point. The third is contrasting point, and the fourth is conclusion of overall information based on the graph. So it looks like this. In 1975, the most popular fast food with Australian teenagers was fish and chips, being eaten 100 times a year. This was far higher than pizza and hamburgers, which were consumed approximately 5 times a year. However, apart from a brief rise again, from 1980 to 1985, the consumption of fish and chips gradually declined over the 25-year time scale to finish at just under 40 times per year. In sharp contrast to this, teenagers ate the other two fast foods at much higher levels. Pizza consumption increased gradually until it overtook the consumption of fish and chips in 1990. It then leveled off from 1995 to 2000. The biggest rise was seen in hamburgers, increasing sharply throughout the 1970s and 1980s, exceeding fish and chips consumption in 1985. It finished at the same level that fish and chips began, with consumption at 100 times a year. How to respond when given two data sources? So let's look at the following examples. Average number of annual hospital visits per capita among Glasgow residents. So here in this graph you can see the number of visits and the years during which there was some changes. So let's look at this graph again and try to fill in the gaps in these sentences. Our graph shows a steady rise in average annual hospital visits between, let's look at the chart again, between what period, as you see, and the next. So the obvious link between the two data sources is that as Glasgow residents get hospital visitation. So in this period, how many visitation did Glasgow residents get? You can see. Let's look what is correct. So our graph shows a steady rise in average annual hospital visits between 1980s and 2010. So the obvious link between the two data sources is that as Glasgow residents get older, hospital visitation increases. Well, how many paragraphs should be in this task? A. 2, B. 4, C. 3. So actually it should have three paragraphs. They are paragraph 1, analyzing data sources, it's table. Paragraph 2, analyzing data sources, it's paragraph 2, graph. And paragraph 3, brief description of the relationship between the data types. So let's look again at table and chart. The Glasgow Age Demographics in 1998 and appears to reveal an aging population within the city. The gap shows the average annual number of hospital trips a Glasgow person makes. So let's look what is missing here. The table presents, of course. The chart shows. If you did this, guys, well done. Let's go further. So it is clear when looking at the comparatively that Glasgow has an aging population that is a cause for the increased annual hospital visits. So because we are summarizing, we need to give both sources. Yeah, it is clear when looking at the table and graph comparatively that Glasgow has an aging population and that this is cause for the increased annual hospital visits. It is assumed baby boomers play cause to the abnormal waiting. As these older Glasgow demographics continue to age, it is expected that the annual number of hospital visits will also rise. So do the dates on the graph show future or past time? Of course, they show us as past, so the future. Because 2014 is gradually finishing, that's why we are going to count it as the past time very soon. So in writing task 1, it is predicted that, think of any ideas which come to your mind about writing task 2 or writing task 1. So it is predicted that the future, what will happen, forecasting, suppose. Next task is you need to fill in. It is predicted that, it is assumed, it is expected, it is anticipated. It is predicted that European internet music sales will increase dramatically over the period covered by the graph. Rising fitfully at first, the sales will then leap in 2 stages to reach a high of $3,900 million in 2012 before rocketing to a new peak of $8,000 million at the end of 2014. So you put in it is predicted at the beginning and finally the years at the end. This was piece of extract from essay. At home, dear students, your task will be using the words below. You need to replace parts of the text above. Which version do you prefer? Note that the items below are in the order that you should replace them. Number 6 has been done for you as an example. The prediction is that will go up a lot, which the graph covers. They will rise erratically and will then rise. So number 6, it is going up. 7. Which will climb at first? 8. Before they bottom out and end. 9. A lot below $1,000 million. 10. With European cinema attendances. 11. And increase. 12. And the biggest jump in cinema visitors is projected. 13. But the second forecast is different. 14. Will fall. So this was your home task for the next time, guys. Now leave your feedback. Did you like this lesson, or how much did you like it? Thank you for your attention. Goodbye.